How Kurzgesagt cooked propaganda for billionaires. Oh my god.
In 2016, Kurzgesagt published a video on the most gruesome parasites. It tells a story of devastating diseases that the world governments couldn't solve, so the big pharma stepped in to be the hero of humanity and save the day. It's one of those too good to be true stories, so I decided to look it up myself. And the real events are nowhere near as glaring for the big pharma as Kurzgesagt presents. Pharmaceutical corporations did donate their medicine to the most affected regions, but they didn't do it out of their own volition or initiative. They did it after decades of neglecting the diseases because they weren't profitable enough to manufacture fixes for them. Bill Gates is actually responsible for much of the neglect. His charitable priorities overemphasized big-name diseases such as malaria, HIV, or...
Okay, so I think that basically already establishes what's going on with this video. This guy is clearly a conspiracy theorist, okay? So just keep that in mind, because all this Bill Gates bullshit is conspiracy theory, you know? The Gates Foundation does a lot of good shit. A lot of the stuff that people call out is unproven bullshit, okay? So please be careful what you read on the internet about the... Bill Gates is not some crazy, you know, evil billionaire. It's just bullshit. Please be careful with what you trust when you read.
Or tuberculosis. But in the process of doing so, they drew crucial attention and resources away from more common and structural problems, many of which led to outbreaks of other diseases. After the public pressure was too large to ignore, the drug makers decided to join the plan.
It's like, are billionaires evil, or is the system evil that allows billionaires to emerge? You know what I mean? People want to complain about billionaires, but how about we attack the system rather than the people? You know, you only become a billionaire as well if you have a huge company that's really successful. Like, they're not billionaires from like liquid money, liquid assets. It's like tied up in their companies. You know, they can't just get the money. But also lots of sus shit. Yeah, I'm a pretty sus guy, man. Not gonna lie.
Pharma never came up with this initiative. It was the World Health Organization who had proposed a roadmap to eradicate the diseases by 2020 and convinced governments and NGOs to join them. The pharmaceutical conglomerates never...
You're talking about what Bill Gates' company is doing. Governments, yeah. When a company is as big as this company, you know, the government's involved, right? There's going to be shady shit for sure. But just believing in shady shit is happening because humans tend to be shady often is kind of silly. You know what I mean? Like, of course there's shady shit happening. And we should call them out when it does prop up. But from my experience of looking into this stuff, holy shit, it's like 99.9999% of conspiracy theories are just nonsensical. And then, you know, occasionally, unfortunately, some turn out to be true.
Assumed any risk. These corporations took home almost profits in 18 years, so this little stunt is really just a pocket change for them. This video was paid for by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it so happens that the Gates are heavily invested in many of the pharma companies.
So what's the title
really
again?
Just a pocket change for them. This video was...
The most gruesome parasites, neglected tropical diseases. When they say it was paid for, was this video sponsored by them? This video is made possible. Sure, but like this channel generally presents science, right? The most gruesome parasites. So that's half of it, and I guess half of it is this. So they're presenting the science of these things, and then looking at some neglected tropical diseases. I don't understand the propaganda here, right? I get it. They're focusing in on neglected tropical diseases, as if, you know, the ones they're propping up here are, I don't know, somehow not important to prop up. I think it's kind of wild to suggest that's propaganda. Like you know, this company trying to help people, you know, by fighting certain diseases is in some way harmful. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, what?
Paid for by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it so happens that
this guy is literally coming at Kurzgesagt because he had a sponsor from Bill Gates. It's fucking wild, man. Like, if I got sponsored by them as well and given some money because they think I'm doing a good thing, I would too have a look at what they do at the Bill Gates Foundation. They wouldn't even have to ask me. I would fucking do it, and I'd present some science on what they're doing, because like they gave me a huge check, and I'd be like, look, it just blows my fucking mind. It makes me angry that videos like this do so well, because it's just spreading bullshit. And Kurzgesagt does nothing but share science communication in a great way. So I give you my math home. No.
The Gates are heavily invested in many of the pharma companies Kurzgesagt portrays as heroes.
It's not clickbait. Like, they're actually presenting this as if this is clickbait. I mean, as if it's propaganda. But it's just silly. It's such a reach. Just because there's a sponsor and they got some money from, you know, like Bill Gates is the founder of Windows, right? That is a technical innovation. There's so much science that goes into computers, software. You might have heard of computer science, right? The guy is very interested in science. And I've listened to lots of Bill Gates. Guess who his big hero is? One of his biggest heroes is Richard Feynman. Yeah, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist. It's one of his favorite people. I bet you now, if you're into physics, you suddenly are like, oh, wow, okay, maybe Bill Gates isn't such a dickhead, right? That's what I thought. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't just hate people because they have a lot of money, right? New technology is going to be backed by rich people. Don't mean it's a shill. Exactly.
Holdings in many of the participating companies, and both Bill and Melinda Gates are trustees of 2 pharma firms. This video isn't positive news. It's a positive PR. Kurzgesagt admitted they wouldn't have made this video if it wasn't paid for by Gates. Okay,
156. So let's go back to that line.
This video if it was.
What can I say? For us, this is the best case scenario. The Foundation people have been nothing but hands off. We probably would not have made the horrible parasites video without the grant, for example. But honestly, it was an awesome creative challenge, and it was one of my favorite videos we made. So, like I just said, if someone gave me a lot of money and they're also doing awesome shit, I'm going to look into the awesome shit they're doing, and I'm going to tell you some science. And like they just said here, the Foundation people have been nothing but hands off. And this guy is still saying this is propaganda. They got some money from people who are interested in science because they're educating kids, and they understand educating kids in terms of science. Science communication is like literally one of the most important things we can currently be doing right now. And it's somehow propaganda. So science communication is propaganda, apparently.
Wasn't paid for by Gates. Okay, what the hell just happened?
This is terrible.
This one video is the perfect culmination of everything that's wrong with billionaires funding media to get the coverage they need.
Why? The most gruesome parasites. He's literally just talked about science. Tropical diseases. What's wrong with educating people about some tropical diseases?
It provides a whitewash take on real events. It undeservedly
whitewash take. Sorry, what? We're talking about science.
Elevates the role of private entities and gives a marketing boost to their agenda and financial interest. The ultra-wealthy are pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into media companies, academic institutions, and governing bodies to rig every step of policymaking in their favor. When billionaires want to open up the markets for their trade, they'll fund media outlets that tell the audience how important investments, innovations, and economic growth are. They'll donate to research that will give them the argument that whatever they decide to do is science. They'll give to political campaigns to get the right candidates elected so that the laws they lobby for are easier to pass. We have identified this to be a problem with all big institutions, and this is what it did to our trust in them. So if it is a problem when billionaires fund our politicians, our journalists, and our academia, is it also a problem when they fund our YouTubers? Because billionaire funding is a lot more prevalent on YouTube than you might think. It's far beyond the scope of this 6-year-old video. I didn't realize I was watching a video sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
This guy needs more education. I'm sorry guys, I have to just chip in again. This guy needs educating.
Because Kurzgesagt didn't reveal this information.
Just because... does this guy not realize, like, sponsors exist? YouTube sponsors? People can just give you money if they think you're doing a good thing as well. It's hardly a sponsor. It's more like, you know, a Patreon. You know, Bill Gates is my Patreon member.
until the last 20 seconds of the video. I actually first found out about the sponsorship from Kurzgesagt Medium article on how they treat sponsors. Here, Philip Detmer, the owner of the channel, admitted that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was their biggest supporter. So big, in fact, it helped transform Kurzgesagt into a powerhouse. But Philip Detmer also told us that Kurzgesagt is almost entirely viewer-funded. I wanted to know where the truth lies, so I went to the foundation's grant database and found this. In November 2015, Kurzgesagt was awarded $570,000 from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Fucking good.
For a 49-month-long contract. I wanted to see the full extent of this contract, so I started going through their YouTube videos to see how many were made for the foundation. And that's when I entered a rabbit hole. I was able to identify at least 8 videos Kurzgesagt made.
Here we go. Antibiotic apocalypse. How? Sorry, how? Like, this is actually a real scientific concern. Microbiome. I'm again sorry. Well, you can't talk about microbiology, and it's how is that propaganda? Vaccines. Okay, that you can see where they're coming. The conspiracy theories are coming in here, right? They're like, oh, but vaccines are a real thing in our world, which are immensely important. So again, what, you can't make a scientific video about vaccines anymore? Is that not possible? Egoistic altruism, that's another cool concept. I thought that was an awesome idea for a video. That's the parasite one. Overpopulation, that's another concern that science has had for a long time. Like, this is just such bullshit. Bacteriophages.
Foundation. When they were awarded the Gates grant, the Patreon was relatively small, yielding less than $9,000 per month. The money from Gates would cover at least $11,000 per month, or $71,250 per video. So the Gates money alone would be at least on par with their Patreon, but Gates wasn't alone. Throughout my research, I kept discovering more and more billionaire-sponsored videos. It's not just one foundation. It's George Soros, the Templetons, and Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskovitz. They also made a sponsored video for this professor from Oxford University, William MacAskill, who is funded by Open Philanthropy, and Kurzgesagt also received money from Bill Gates' personal blog.
Who is that guy? This is such a horseshit. Everything he's saying here is so fucking dumb, man. As if, like, you know, these rich people can't potentially just be smart people who want to help the world improve. And so they're giving money to channels that think, you know, these people are doing a good thing. Like, holy shit. This guy is so cynical, whoever's made this video. Also, it's not like Gates is self-choosing everything. That's another important thing.
Bill Gates' personal blog and venture capitalist funds. From what I was able to find, Kurzgesagt made at least 1 video for Open Society Foundations, at least 3 videos for Templeton World Charity, 3 videos for Bill Gates' blog and Breakthrough Energy, and 1 video.
So apparently, speaking about emergence, like some fundamental things in the universe, speaking about intelligence, consciousness is also propaganda. You know, talking about climate change is propaganda. You can see how conspiracy theorists or just people on the certain sides of the political spectrum will view that. The last human soon. Okay, so also science fiction is also propaganda now.
Video for William MacAskill. We know they were awarded $500,000 from the Gates Foundation and almost $6 million from Open Philanthropy. If they kept the same per video rate since the Gates grant, it could be estimated Kurzgesagt received at least $7 million from billionaire funds. This would be more money than Kurzgesagt received from their supporters on Patreon in the entire history of the channel. This made me realize that Kurzgesagt never was this small.
That means he's evil, does it?
Small, independent, almost entirely viewer-funded channel. As soon as the studio incorporated, billionaires began lining up. They transformed the small Munich-based design studio with 5 employees into a multi-million-dollar media powerhouse with dozens of employees. Kurzgesagt was also sponsored by regular commercial businesses such as Brilliant or Skillshare, but neither of these has multi-billion-dollar investments in global industries, and they aren't spending millions in political lobbies trying to influence lawmaking. And most importantly, they don't fund the sources that Kurzgesagt uses for the research. And what the hell is going on with Kurzgesagt research? Kurzgesagt told us their research is impartial and fact-checked by scientists to ensure integrity. But my skepticism alarms were already buzzing out of their asses, so I started looking at their sources and noticed something odd. Many of their videos rely primarily on a single publication. This publication is a partner of the channel and they help them with research and provide numbers for their scripts. This publication appears so frequently in their sources, their website is quoted up to dozens of times in a single document. This research publication is not some independent group of scientists just sharing their hard science for free. It is Our World in Data, heavily funded by Bill Gates and other billionaires, many of which have also sponsored Kurzgesagt videos. The publication received at least $4.8 million from the Gates Foundation alone, but they were also funded by Open Philanthropy, Templeton, and Will.
I think you'll find that many large businesses in our world are, lots of different investors have a stake in them. Paul Graham. Like, this is so silly. This guy clearly doesn't understand the business world or how things operate.
McCaskill. All of these entities had their series of sponsored videos at their Kurzgesagt channel. Their partnership with Our World in Data was initiated by the grant from the Gates Foundation through the first video on overpopulation, made in collaboration with Max Roser, the founder and lead scientist of Our World in Data. Following this,
there's lots of different science publications where you can publish science, okay? And if they want to choose one which they like, guess what? They're biased like all other humans, right? I look too at certain publications because I'm biased to thinking I like these ones, okay? It's so stupid.
This money trail led me to discover that the data in Kurzgesagt videos isn't such a rock-solid science as they authoritatively present in their videos. Many of the numbers...
They don't often. They always, present uncertainty, I think, in a fair way. So, come download Cal, my friends. I created this. It's the first post-quantum VPN in the world. It can literally protect you from quantum computers, and the Mac version is out. So if you've been following along, my friends, and waiting for the Mac, it's finally out. So come help your boy. I'm going to be creating a lot more as well. This is just the beginning, and I've got a little tutorial here for if you're having trouble getting it set up. There's a whole new UI. So yeah, please come support your man.
From Our World in Data, Kurzgesagt relies on so much, are complete
You too, Nick.
garbage. In the videos on overpopulation, they show this amazing decline in global poverty, a trend which they attribute to economic growth. But where is this data coming from? It's from Max Roser graph at Our World in Data. But look at how the data points go all the way back to the early 19th century. None of these historical numbers are proven. Real data on poverty for the majority of the world didn't exist until 1981.
So this video is just going to go ahead and present, paint a picture of how they're doing this, when really, I'm sure if you go read the sources and stuff, or even the actual article, it's probably extrapolating based on current, and if you follow trends, so I'm sure if it doesn't exist, they extrapolate it, and I'm sure in the scientific article that's stated, right? Otherwise, it would get bounced back when trying to get refereed. So this is silly. This is why we referee science papers, right? And, if Kurzgesagt is doing what they should do, which is mostly use cited papers, well-cited, so it's been refereed and it's been cited lots, means it's their important papers. Well, then this guy doesn't understand that referees, when you submit a paper, it has to get refereed. And so there's a whole mechanism in play. So there's a lot of the stuff in the articles, you're not missing any bad science.
And before that is a speculation. And who defines extreme poverty? The World Bank does. How? By calculating the lowest possible rate as an average from poverty lines of the poorest countries in the world. That's living below $1.90 a day. Scholars strongly disagree with this rate and suggest at least $7.40 a day. With the World Bank's rate,
Okay, I reckon we pause there, my friends. We're going to watch the rest of this tomorrow, so I'll save this, all right, and see what else he comes up with. Because, look, he's got some big spikes, so we'll see that tomorrow. This stuff has been happening a lot lately to big names in STEM education and communication, trying to add doubt to voices doing good. So sad. This is so sad that people are trying to undercut just basic science communication. The videos he propped up as propaganda are literally just like, it's just like, how do you suggest a video on microbiology is propaganda? That's absurd. It's absurd.